Welcome to Fantasy Sports Ball, your home for all things fantasy sports. Those are the Magnolia Silos in Waco, Texas, but Chip and Joanna are not the hottest celebrities in town anymore. That would be Mr. Sniffles, seen here with a monster dunk in his last game. Today's matchup features the high-octane offensive A-wing versus the stingy defensive B-wing. But before we go to coverage, here's a throwback of a Baylor Skinnerbox hero of the past. Bartholomew Burleson was an all-conference tailback who led Baylor to a 10-2 season. Those guys were a lot tougher in that era. It wasn't all about rewards for pushing the lever. You got an electric shock if you lost. Of course, they didn't care too much about player safety back then. These guys are cross-the-hall rivals. If you want to know how to get there from here, just hop in your means of transportation, and depending on your sense of direction, you should be able to make it there in under an hour. Now on to Skinnerbox Stadium. Here you see the Baylor line, a tradition since 1845 when Skinnerboxes were made out of wood. Mr. Sniffles seems to be feeling out the defense, letting the game come to him. Oh, he gets a bucket, does a spin move, then gets another bucket. Unstoppable performance.
We coasting right now, though. I like what we're doing right now. Let's keep the pressure on, keep our foot on him. I like when he runs the point, though. When he runs the point, it seems like the offense flows a little bit more smoothly.
Because he's really a pass-first guy to begin with, but you have to play him like he's a scorer.
Right.
So defensively, it makes it hard on the opposition.
And it gives him room to preserve his energy for when he wants to exactly, go to the basket like he likes to. Get that. Let's go. Let's go. Push that. Oh, threes, please. He's playing a different role now. We don't need him to do what we needed him to do before. He can just play his role, his position.
And he's accepted that role.
Yes. And he's playing it well. Great mid-range shot. That mid-range is deadly if you still can use it, if you know how to use it.
And Mr. Sniffles gets a technical foul for hanging on the rim.
That was absolutely ridiculous! Wait a minute! Wait a minute! That's a terrible call. That is a terrible call. That's a terrible call.
Call that man KFC because he knows how to get buckets.
Big time plays, big time plays. Step back. Kiss myself, Neil Funk. Sriracha. Oh! Yes! Yes! Oh! Yes! She sticks it on glass.
Look at that, he scores a point, then stops to fix his hair. That just goes to show you folks, it's not just about winning, you gotta win with style. As we close out the game, let's go to our fan mail on Twitter. Tommy TikTok says, Mr. Sniffles is the GOAT. It's time to start talking about him in the same conversation as Magic, Jordan, and Bird. C-Wing Sarah says, Mr. Sniffles is overrated. He will be exposed when he runs up against C-Wing next week. Not a Nose Brother says, I'm not one for politics, but I think Mr. Sniffles is the rat we need to clean up Washington and the New York subway system. Burleson's hat says, I hope the Learning and Behavior Lab has a chiropractor because Mr. Sniffles will need it after carrying the team on his back. Still not satisfied with A-Wing's accomplishments, Skip Bayless says, B-Wing doesn't even do rat studies. That wing is just for lectures. Join us next week for more jaw-dropping action. This has been Fantasy Sports Ball.